Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jubilee Circle. All these folks fresh from Sunday school. If you get here at 10:30 in the morning, you can go to Sunday school, where we are doing some sound healing and meditation to get ourselves in the mood. All right. We've lost our guitar player. Everybody in the world needs a... Oh, there's Justin. Okay. All right, well...
He probably went. I think he's in the kitchen.
Bruce! We got to go, man. We're live on the air. Oops. Sorry, buddy. All right, we're live on the air. Bruce has been having an allergic reaction. He's allergic to the band this morning, so... So welcome, everybody, to Jubilee Circle this morning. Did you enjoy the snow? Everybody enjoy the snow?
Yes!
So nice to have snow. We don't usually get snow here. I think that was like 2014 the last time we had snow. Something amazing. All right, here we go. 2, 3, 4. Was he thinking about my country, or the color of my skin? Was he thinking about my religion and the way I worshipped him? Did he create just me in his image, or every living thing? When God made me, when God made me, was he planning only for believers, or for those who just have faith? Did he envision all the wars that were fought in his name? Did he think there was only one way to be close to him? When God made me, when God made me, did he give us the gift of love to see who we could choose? When God made me, when God made me, when God made me, when God made me, did he give me the gift of voice so some could silence me? Did he give me the gift of vision, not knowing what I might see? Did he give me the gift of compassion to help my fellow man? When God made me, when God made me, when God made me, when God made me. Oh, yeah. All right, welcome everybody. Again, today we are continuing our Via Creativa theme of Becoming Light. And I've got my little restrictor going on here. I want to step on Cece. This is Cece. This is our Jubilee mascot dog. So this Via, we are exploring how we give birth to the creative light of love in the world by being willing to change, by becoming aware of the world in new and deeper ways, recognizing our spiritual growth as the head knowledge that we have becomes heart knowing, and then we embody that light in the world. And we're exploring this fourfold path all during this Via. The word recognize, it comes from the Latin re, which means again, and cognoscere, which means to get to know. So when we recognize something, we're simply recalling what we already know. We're getting to know something, someone, or some concept again, implying that we knew this before, but we may have forgotten. For example, once we knew that we were the light of the world, forever joined in infinite union with our Creator. But as A Course in Miracles says, this tiny, mad idea of separation entered our consciousness, and we took this cosmic joke of separation seriously, so seriously that we forgot to laugh. And what spun off from our not seeing how laughable it is that we could ever be separate from God, it has created this illusory world of form, where we believe with all of our heart and our mind and our soul that we are separate from one another and separate from God. However, there is something maybe even deep within us that just knows this world we see can't be all that there is. There has got to be something more. There's got to be something better, something more peaceful and loving that we are meant to be part of. And if we are willing to be open to finding that something more, and we become aware of the clues of our inner divinity that God lays out in this world for us to see, then jubilance, we will finally recognize the truth about ourselves. And it is in this recognition that brings our awareness of our divinity from head knowledge into a heart knowing, a place where there is no question about who we truly are. We are beloved children of God who have never been separated from our Creator. So I invite you, jubilants, in this moment to know again who you truly are, because when you finally recognize yourself in everyone around you, that's when you'll say, oh yeah. Please rise as you're able. And we begin every Jubilee circle in the same fashion. We remember the four elements, the air and the water and the earth and the fire. And we burn black sage as a reminder to set your intentions, not just your personal intentions, but to set your intention for this world, to set your intention for spirit to move in this world and create that love that we all are. And we call the four directions to orient ourselves in this sacred time and space. So I invite you to turn and face the east. Holy One, awaken us to the light of the east. Bless us with the dawning of each new day. Light our path as we seek to reach out in community to those who may remain in darkness. Teach us, Holy One, how to embrace who we truly are, the light of the world, the light that this world needs. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the south. Bless us, Holy One, with a recognition of that inner light that shines as warmly as that southern sun and invites us all into its warmth and beauty. Holy One, we ask that you make us shine brightly for you and for the world. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the west. Help us, Holy One, when the light begins to dim. That darkness in our world is just as natural as the light. Help us to bless even the darkness when we feel like it is surrounding us instead of cursing it. Help us, Holy One, to understand that darkness is necessary if there is ever to be light. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the north. Guide us, Holy One, when we fall into our own pit of darkness. Instead of wallowing deeper into it, remind us to go toward you, the light of the holy. Remind us to go toward our holy community where we can find your light, that true north that guides us home. And as we turn back toward the center, have a look around. all those little points of light here in this room. We are each filled to the brim with that holy light. And our task, Jubilants, is to get that light out from under the bushel, let it shine so others can see it and find their way into our community where they can all learn how to say, oh yeah, right. It's great to see so many quarters of faces around here today. Nice to see so many eyeballs.
A half moon.
It's right. Got to get the sage going around here. Okay. All right, Arlo, you get a little dose there, buddy. Hi, y'all. All right, I'm still working. Hang on. All right. Right. All right, you got to get to Jim. Okay. Band just gets a big swirl. Y'all help yourself. All right, no, Cece's like, I'm fine. I'm going to be right here. All right, so remain standing. We're going to open up with some Jason Mraz this morning because when we recognize the world, okay, my guitar stand is not letting go, so hang on. Equipment malfunction. All right. When we recognize the world, we recognize it as beautiful, as forgiven, as sinless. He says the world as he sees it is a remarkable place. And as soon as I see the music,
It'll be remarkable.
it will be so remarkable. All right.
Candace,
Huh?
give this. I have a spare. I think we're out.
Okay. Anybody need a spare bulletin? Whoop. Oh, well, now it's down there. Anyone need a spare? I only printed a dozen this morning, and boy, I needed more. It's lovely to see all of you this morning, and it's good to
Friends
see
over
you all
there
out there.
with Puppy, back in the back. Friends back there in the back.
Okay. All right. Good morning and welcome to the chaos. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Here we go, y'all. Yeah, the world as I see it is a remarkable place. Beautiful house in the forest, of stars in outer space. From a bird's eye view I can see it has a well-rounded personality. From a bird's eye view I can see we are family. And it's not is a remarkable place. Oh, yeah. You may be seated. I love that song. Mr. Mraz, Mr. AZ, Mr. Arizona. All right, welcome again here to Jubilee Circle. Thanks so much for joining us this morning here in the building and wherever you may be out in the world. We are an inclusive, progressive, interfaith community here in Columbia, South Carolina. We teach the timeless common wisdom of love and unity that is found in all mainstream religions, metaphysical philosophies, mysticism, and the inspired secular and religious writers and teachers throughout the ages. We use popular music, teachings, weekly celebrations, educational and artistic events, and other community-building activities to try to create a space for everyone to experience transformation so they can then go out and be that transformation in the world. We believe we're here to expand our souls, to find that deeper meaning in life, to renew our commitment to love and peace and justice, and learn how to love wastefully in the world, and undergo a transformation from the inside out that is so thorough that all we can do is then just live from that higher divine self. I'm working on it. We also recognize that we are God's good creation. We are formed not just of stardust, but in love and in joy as well. But we forget this. We slide out of mama and hit our head, and we think that, oh, I see this other body over here, and that body over there, I must be separate from everybody. And then the judging and the grievances begin, right? I don't like that body over there. I don't like what that guy's doing. And then we have forgotten who we are, and we judge everybody, beautiful or ugly, good or bad, generous or stingy, loving or obstreperous. Right. But let us remember our true function here, Jubilants. It is to remember who we are, to remember that we are the light of the world, and we have never, ever left our unity with one another and with God. Oh, yeah. So next week, we're doing this WARE thing I was telling you about willingness, awareness, recognition, that's today, and then embodiment. And so next Sunday, if the sermon muses are kind, I'll have a sermon about embodiment. I'm going to use one of my original songs that I wrote a few years ago to explore that fourth step of embodiment. So tune in and see whether that happens. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Y'all pray for me. During the week, we've got all sorts of great things. Wednesday nights at 7:30, Lee McEachern is leading our Course in Miracles discussion group. Whether you are a veteran of the course or you're just getting into it, it's just really informal. We just read from the course and discuss. So come and learn more if you're interested in learning more about the course and going a little deeper. And then on Thursday, the 27th at 6 o'clock, we'll continue our meditation workshop. I've planned for this to be a 6-week long workshop, and last week was week 2, so we're going to be doing week 3. And if you haven't come, please do. What we're trying to do is just explore a bunch of meditation styles and see if you find one that you really like, and then you might make it more of a daily, ongoing practice of meditation for yourself. So. Testimony from meditation folks. Have you been enjoying it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's been really good. We did walking meditation, and that was strange. Whew. It was good, but boy, when you slow down and really think about your steps, wow, you get present really fast. It was great. Yeah. So join us, 6 o'clock on Thursday. And there is a Zoom option for that as well, and the link is on the website for the Zoom option. We had a couple of folks join us on Zoom, and it works just as well whether you're in the building or not. Soundy School at 10:30, time for some sound healing and meditation. And then Friday, February 4th, Sydney McMath, who Al Black assures me is a fantastic musician, will be our feature act at the Open Mic and Coffee House on Friday the 4th. Did you want to talk about Thursday?
Just remind everybody.
I don't, but you're the one that has the you're the one that has the knowledge.
We talked about it last week, but just a reminder that this coming
Oh, turn that
Thursday-
on. I don't think it's on. Did you?
I did.
Okay.
Now?
Can y'all hear her?
Can y'all hear
No.
me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thursday from 10 to 12 is the Interfaith Harmony Month Faith and Family panel discussion that we're going to be hosting. Candace is facilitating the first part. I'm participating in the second part. But we're going to hear from leaders from 4 different faith traditions: Judaism, Baha'i, Islam, and Christianity, around the question of how does your faith regard your aging members? And then afterward, we'll have some discussion around resources that are available to help anybody who's getting older. So that'll the link to that is on the Jubilee community page, and it's also on SC Thrive's website of events. This coming Thursday, the 27th,
Thursday.
from 10 to 12.
At 10 a.m., yeah. Yeah,
It's virtual.
10 a.m.
It's virtual.
And it's online. It's all online. So, all right. And we'll post something about that. All right. Hear these wise and holy words.
From the Jesus story, Luke 24:30 through 32. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us?" From A Course in Miracles, chapter 3. All of your difficulties stem from the fact that you do not recognize yourself, your brother, or God. To recognize means to know again, implying that you knew before. You can see in many ways because perception involves interpretation, and this means that it is not whole or consistent. The miracle, being a way of perceiving, is not knowledge. It is the right answer to a question, but you do not question when you know. Questioning illusions is the first step in undoing them. The miracle, or the right answer, corrects them. Since perceptions change, their dependence on time is obvious. How you perceive at any given time determines what you do, and actions must occur in time. Knowledge is timeless because certainty is not questionable. You know when you have ceased to ask questions. From Catholic theologian Thomas Aquinas. Sometimes we think what we are saying about God is true when in fact it is not. It would seem of value to differentiate between what is God's nature and what is false about love. I have come to learn that the truth never harms or frightens. I have come to learn that God's compassion and light can never be limited. Thus, any God who would condemn is not a God at all, but some disturbing image in the mind of a child we best ignore until we can cure the dark.
These are wise and holy words. Thanks be to the holy. All creation is holy word. All creation speaks volumes of God. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. I invite you during this prayer time, you can reflect on those words. If God condemns, then it cannot be a God. How many of that is it? That's an alien thought to Southern Baptists, right? We believe in some good old-fashioned condemnation, some good old-fashioned smiting. But Aquinas, a Catholic theologian, way back then, if God condemns, it is no God at all. So I invite you in this time of prayer to contemplate the true God, the God of love, the God of joy and peace. Breathe deeply. Oh, yeah. Our song this morning comes from singer and songwriter Keb Mo. The song is called I See Love, and it appeared on his 2006 release called Suitcase, and it was also used as the theme song for the TV show Mike and Molly. So if you watched Mike and Molly, this might sound familiar. 2, 3, 4. I've been high, I've been low, I've been everywhere I wanted to go, but I've never been here before. I've been all around the world, even out of space, but what I see right now feels like a brand new place. I was so damn close, it was a snake, it would have been me, crawling right under my nose. Baby, I must admit it, that get it, but now you got me singing la la ba dee da, la la ba dee da. Boy, how could I have been so blind? But now you got me singing la la ba dee da, la la ba dee da. For the first time in my life, I see love. Back in the 1990s, I spent a lot of time on the internet. I still do, of course. But back then, I spent the majority of my time arguing with other people online, which is not what I do a lot of right now. Back then, of course, there was no Facebook. Can you imagine? Just give yourself a minute with that. What? There was no Facebook. It was nice. Bob's like, it was nice back then. But there were Yahoo message boards, right? And the communities that I frequented on those Yahoo message boards attracted a lot of arguments about whether or not you could be both a Christian and a lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender person. The resounding answer from those who believed in an inerrant Bible and that condemning old man in the sky kind of God was no. And they marshaled all their evidence from literal readings of 6 or 7 Bible passages, along with a healthy dose of homophobia and misogyny that their faith had steeped them in for centuries. Perhaps, though, I'm being a little bit too harsh on them, maybe. I see now, of course, that they were simply beloved children of God who were just captured by their egoic fear, a fear that was based mostly on being wrong about their beliefs and winding up in an eternal hell, right? It's a familiar fear. But in that moment, though, they were the people who were wrong on the internet, and it was my job, by God, to change their hearts and minds. By God. Damn it. You're wrong. So I tried to use my extensive knowledge of what the Bible says in context about homosexuality and my firsthand experience as a lesbian, I had some experience in this, to try to persuade them. When that inevitably did not work, I resorted to sarcasm, name-calling, tit-for-tat condemnation. It was great. Most interactions turned nasty pretty quickly back in those days. And the upshot of all the arguing is that God does indeed love LGBTQ people, even those who claim Christianity as their faith. But he, and make no mistake, God's pronouns are he and him, according to these folks. God hated their behavior. Love the sinner, hate the sin. Of course, that behavior was boiled down to whatever two people did in bed, and any talk of loving same-gender couples, whatever love they may share, well, that was a side issue at best. Their prescription, my internet detractors, was to get back into God's good graces by changing. Renouncing that thing that makes Jesus puke. If I changed, my accusers promised I would be cured. And you know what? I changed. And I was cured. But I didn't seek to change my sexual orientation, obviously. Instead, I changed how I saw God. I changed how I related to that creative force in the universe. And this was almost as revolutionary as giving up my sexual orientation, because my Southern Baptist tradition taught me to fear God, or else I would be cursed at best, smited at worst, and sent to an eternal hellfire. My tradition portrays God as a strict, humorless rule keeper, a harsh taskmaster, and a hater of long hair on men and pants on women. Strange God, that one. Fashion God, you know. No. Fashionista. When I became willing to see God differently than my tradition had taught me, I became aware of what a silly little God he turned out to be. That led me to recognize all the other ways that God is imagined or thought about through the different religions and philosophies and spiritual masters, such as the mystics, who always portray God as playful, sensual, sometimes even erotic, scandalous. My Southern Baptist mama is rolling in her grave. Overall, though, these mystics, these metaphysicians, they consistently convey God as an entity that delights in us, which is completely opposite than the God I grew up believing in. Not only that, all these mystics, they are certain that we remain one with the holy no matter how fiercely we believe in our separation. Like that Catholic theologian, Thomas Aquinas, in today's reading, sometimes, he says, we think that what we are saying about God is true, and in fact it is not. It would seem of value to differentiate between what is God's nature and what is false about love. He then proceeds to tell us what he has come to learn, that the truth never harms or frightens, that God's compassion and light can never be limited. That knowledge led him to conclude this: any God who could condemn is not a God at all, but some disturbing image in the mind of a child we best ignore until we can cure the dark. Now, what brought a theologian like Aquinas to that kind of a conclusion? It's that third step in our fourfold path to enlightenment. It's recognition. We've already talked about that first step, which is our willingness to see a better way to live than being jerked around by our ego's compulsiveness and competitiveness. We've also talked about that second step of awareness, where we begin to see the clues and the hints and the paths to live in that better way that leads us out of that ego and into that higher divine self. And this third step of recognition, it is the most important one, because it is here that we gather that new knowledge that we're willing and able to become aware of, and we allow that knowledge to travel from our head to our heart, where it becomes a doubtless knowing. This is what happened to Aquinas. It's what happened to all the mystics, from Rumi, Hafez, Meister Eckhart, Julian of Norwich, Catherine of Siena, countless others, including the scribes and editors of the New Testament, the Hebrew Scriptures, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, A Course in Miracles, and any other wise and holy scripture down through the ages. Recognition, according to A Course in Miracles, simply means to know again. In this state, we become so open and so hungry for Spirit to show us that better way to live that we begin to transcend that static ego state and become in that ecstatic, higher divine state where we're open to miracles, where we're open to our perception to be changed. The miracle, of course, says being a way of perceiving is not knowledge. It is the right answer to a question, but you do not question when you know. When you recognize the truth about yourself, that you have always known it, you have always known that you are an innocent, beloved child of God and nothing else. And when that really sinks in, you do not question it. You just know it. And the only reason I ever argued with any of my internet inquisitors was because I had not yet realized and recognized the truth about myself. That while my sexual orientation may be part of my learning curriculum in this life, it is not who I am. I am the light of the world. I am the one child of God, and so is everyone in this room and out there. Jubilants, once I saw love, I came to learn, as Aquinas did, that the truth never harms or frightens, and that God's compassion and light can never be limited, and any God who could condemn is not a God at all, but some disturbing image in the mind of a child we best ignore until we can cure the dark. And how do we cure the dark? Yes, Arlo, you got it right. We bring it to the light of love. Breathe deeply. 2, 3, 4. I've been in, I've been out of every kind of love affair, but I know all I ever got was the blues. I've had money, cars, and some good champagne, but your love is much better than all those things. I'm so glad to have you here with me, standing right under my nose. Baby, I must admit that now I really get it. That's why I'm singing la la ba dee da, la la ba dee da. How could I have been so blind? But now you got me singing la la ba dee da, la la ba dee da. For the first time in my life, I see love, I see love. Once upon a time, according to an old Hindu legend, all human beings were gods. But they so abused that power that Brahma, the top god, took away their divinity and was looking for a place to hide it so they could never, ever, ever find it again. So Brahma consulted with all the other gods who suggested, hide it deep within the earth. Hide it in the depths of the ocean. Hide it on the highest mountaintop. But Brahma knew that we, obstreperous humans, would dig or dive deep or climb the highest peak in search of it. So finally, after much contemplation, Brahma hit on the perfect plan. Brahma said, we will hide their divinity deep down in the one place they surely will never, ever look, at the very center of their being. This is an ingenious plan, because our ego loves to have us running around in circles, looking for what we think is our divinity outside of us, when love is just waiting to be recognized and discovered within that movement from head to heart. And those men who traveled with Jesus on that road to Emmaus after his resurrection, they didn't recognize him until he sat down at the table and broke bread with them. So metaphysically speaking, this is the moment they discovered not just a divine being in front of them, but their divinity within. Why? Because the key to recognition is communion. The moment we can see our unity within every living creature that our ego swears we are separated from, we will remember who we are and who they are too. That communion, it doesn't even have to be an enjoyable encounter with others for it to nourish us and give us the miracle we need to recognize that unity. My internet detractors, I broke bread with them a lot. Metaphysically, metaphorically. We often communed, but we were sort of like that estranged family on Thanksgiving, sort of yelling past one another. But what I finally realized, though, was that these guys on the internet were making me stronger. They were pushing me to learn more and more, not just about homosexuality in the Bible, but about myself. To learn about that higher divine self that I possess that doesn't even have a sexual orientation, much less a gender. And that was my realization, Jubilants. I realized arguing over sexual orientation and religion is ridiculous. It's all made up. Gender, religion, sex, doctrines, dogmas, we made it all up. It's not even real. And we're going to spend our lives arguing about it? Are you insane? Yes, because it's the ego. You are insane. Absolutely. There's no literal heaven. There's no literal hell. There's no punishing God to fear. It's all just the illusion we made up. When the head knowledge becomes a heart knowing, it just made me laugh. I mean, how ridiculous this entire exercise has been. I've dedicated half of my life to arguing about something that's imaginary. Trying to reconcile two imaginary things and believing that my very soul, my very eternal fate depended on me succeeding. It's funny. This is what we forgot to laugh at, Jubilants. How funny that is. That's hysterical. This is the best stand-up routine you have ever seen. What that experience taught me is what today's course reading says. All of your difficulties stem from the fact that you do not recognize yourself, your siblings, or God. When I began to question the illusion, Jubilants, my eyes were opened. All that arguing, simply the ego's way to increase my feelings of separation from those who opposed me and my feelings of being separated from God. And I spent all those years arguing when I could have just saved a lot of time and recognized, as a course says, how you perceive at any given time determines what you do, and actions must occur in time. Knowledge is timeless because certainty is not questionable. You know when you have ceased to ask questions. You know when you're not asking questions anymore. And Jubilants, today, I have no questions about homosexuality and the Bible. I know my sexual orientation, while it's part of the illusion, it's important only because it's a way that the Spirit teaches me who I truly am. I am the light of the world. I am a beloved child of God who still remains in unity with my Creator. Everything in our lives that we see as difficulties, they are tools that the Spirit is using to wake us up, to help us recognize that the joy and the peace and the love that we go out into this world and desperately search for is here. Brahma buried it deep in the center of us. Stop looking for it out there. It's not there. Recognize it here. So I invite you this morning, let's break some bread with Jesus. That older sibling who seeks to commune with us in every moment so we can recognize that higher divine self and extend that holy love out into the world in communion with everyone around us. And when those guys who were traveling with Jesus finally recognized him, they started talking to each other going, you know what? All that time our hearts were burning within us. We just knew there was something about this guy. Jesus awakened something in them, even before they recognized their own divinity. And that's what he can still do for us now when you are willing, Jubilants, to stop pledging allegiance to the ego's schemes and plans that will never satisfy you, and you become aware of a whole new world that can unfold for you when you invest in that higher divine self. Then you begin to recognize the unity of spirit we share with one another, even those you would rather not share your unity with. When I recognized the nourishment that my online detractors had given me, I went on that Yahoo message board and I wrote them a thank you note. I thanked them for having that communion with me. I told them that the arguments we shared had pushed me to learn and grow in ways that I had never imagined. And because of them, I had recognized God in a whole new, life-giving way. That recognition, I told them, it settled every question I had about the topic of spirituality and homosexuality, and that I would remain quite happily, a lesbian in this existence, knowing that full well it's part of God's plan for my life. They were not thrilled. No, none of them went, oh, cool, no. They just continued to hurl insults and vitriol and condemning me to hell. It was great. However, my deepest hope is that through their encounter with me, on some level of consciousness, they too were blessed. And they will eventually find the treasure of their own divinity hidden underneath their egoic need to condemn others and have their views be seen as right in the world. Jubilants, when we recognize that love has been buried within us this entire time, while we frantically searched and searched for it outside of ourselves, we're going to feel like we have arrived in a brand new place. But that place is also going to feel familiar because the recognition of our holiness is simply a remembering. It is a knowing again, without question, that we have possessed it all along. And in that moment, we'll be singing la la ba dee da, la la ba dee da. How could I have been so blind? But now you got me singing la la ba dee da. Everybody, la la ba dee da. For the first time in my life, I see love, I see love. Sorry. It's all right. We're done. I'm so glad to have you here with me, standing right under my nose. Baby, I must admit that now I really get it, and now that's singing la la ba dee da, la la ba dee da. How could I have been so blind? But now you got me singing la la ba dee da, la la ba dee da. First time in my life, I see love, I see love. La la ba dee da. For the first time in my life, I see love, I see love. Oh yeah. All right. Icy love, yes. Yeah, Beth said that earlier. This is like different from the hot boiling love. Got icy love. Breathe deeply, y'all. Feel like I've been a good old evangelical preacher this morning. Well, when you hit on a topic that's got passion, you get that way, you know? I mean, it really did take a long time for me to come to this recognition, for me to come to this knowledge, you know, about myself, about religion, about God, of just knowing there is no such thing as a condemning God. There is only the God of love and peace and joy. And if you don't know love and peace and joy, hey, I want to swap out your God. What you're following. Because most often our God is the ego, right? I want you to seek but do not find. But it has been the passion for this place that has kept us going for 12 years, y'all, 12 years. And y'all have done that because you have given of your time and your resources and your money. We've got Jim Mounts over here doing the camera and everything, and that's Jim contributing his time and his talent and his skills and his love to this place. And there are others who give of their money, give of their time and talents. The band, I mean, come on, this band is amazing. And these are the folks who give of their time and their talent. Bruce Clark there on the lead guitar, Beth DeHart back there on drums, Keith Edwards Sr. on the bass, Trisha Fopp on the 12-string, Cece.
On the stage.
Cece on the stage.
On the stage.
Michael's over there. Sprinkles, Reisman. So this place exists because you support it. And so I'm grateful that you do. Yes, absolutely. We've got a gamecock.
Yeah.
Yes. And so thank you for your support. Thank you for your ongoing support. If you have not yet supported us, thank you for the support that is coming our way. And so we say that we are grateful because, of course, if the only prayer you ever say in this life is thank you, according to Meister Eckhart, that will be enough. And so we say thank you for your support. And for all of y'all out there on the virtual YouTube, watching us virtually, we're going to say good week to you. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, say thank you, because it is our gratitude that moves everything along in this world. Oh, yeah. So have a great week out there in virtual land, and we will see you at the same bat time, same bat channel next Sunday. Oh, yeah.